welcome back to HyzerMedia's coverage of the Disc Golf Open of Pennsylvania, presented by Home Again Disc Golf. Thank you to Home Again Disc Golf for being the title sponsor of this tournament, as well as this coverage. We appreciate it. And also thank you to our Patreon family for supporting HyzerMedia. I'm Nathan Johnson, and today I am joined by Team Home Again's own Ramie Millar.
So hole 10, we're going to jump into the back nine with the hardest hole on the course. It's par 4, 568 foot par 4, and it's going to be working its way downhill through the woods. It's going to come off, and we're going to slightly drift off to the left. The landing zone's about here if you're going to go for the safe play, and then you're going to be forced to kind of come down into a very, very protected green. A lot of people are either going to be trying to throw forehands here and really trying to just get as much distance as they can, or they're just going to try and lay up and try to get up and down the fairway.
Yep, the landing zone here is super tight, so you need to make sure that if anything, you're staying right in the fairway, in the middle of the fairway. If you drift off to the left side of the fairway, it is very difficult to get up and down. So Lucas is going to try a turnover forehand. Doesn't quite commit to it, but that's not the worst mistake. There are some lines over there to get up and down for a birdie still. You're going for the layup, the straight putter, looks like.
I am going to try and go for the little layup zone. And I just give it a little extra height. And it really fades off as the hill kind of pulls everything down that way.
Yeah, it is very difficult to get that distance and angle control right to stick it in the middle of the fairway on this hole. So it'll be tough for you to find a line, but it's Vince, he's going for the turnover and just leaves it a little low. Catches a stump and not the worst kick. Still got a good amount of distance pushing forward, so we'll see what he can manage from over there. And then Harry, he's also going to line up that turnover forehand line. This angle looks great. Oh, it looks like he just turned it over a little too much, caught some of those left side trees, but looks like he has a gap here if he wants to get aggressive. A little high, clips some cabbage, still pushes forward a decent amount, but as Ramie said, this green is very fast. There is a steep drop off behind the basket that goes down like 200 feet. So, the hill, if you make it all the way down the hill. So you definitely do not want to be running your downhill 50 footers on this one.
And then I just clipped the tree coming out and just kind of got a lot of distance forward and to the right. Vince is going to go through the hyzer here.
Ooh, that was a nice little friendly kiss at the end there. Lucas with a chip forehand. It was a friendly tree direction, but it's going to leave him with a scary putt. You running this?
I really wanted to highlight putt here. I looked at Dave and I told him I just couldn't do it.
I don't blame you. That is a terrifying putt. It's smart move. Take the par. No harm, no foul. Lucas, he's having the same thoughts as you. Yeah, it kind of gives it a safe bid, but clips a tree and he'll settle for the par as well. Harry actually has a better angle over here on the left. I mean, you can see the rock wall, so as long as he keeps it low like that, yeah, nice safe bid. He'll take his par as well. And now Vince, best look on the card, just leaves it a little left.
And we're just all in here tapping out. Nice,
yeah, like you said, this is actually the only hole that played over par on the day. So you're okay with a par. You're not losing too many strokes on the field. And take your medicine, move on to the next one. Nice cleanup from Vince. As we jump into hole 11.
So hole 11 is par 3, 350-foot shot, kind of uphill, slight turnover. Some people are going to throw the forehand, a little flip-up forehand if you're right-handed backhand, or you're going to try and bend something around the center tree here in the fairway.
Yeah, this is a tight gap for sure. You basically just want to miss that one tree in the middle on either side, and then you can usually get a putt. Lucas he likes that forehand line. And yeah, he's made his way all the way up there for a putt. That's a great chop.
The only mistake is you don't want to catch a tree and kick left because there is OB on the left side here roped off.
Yep, especially with the backhand line. The OB definitely comes into play if you kick left, but that's a nice shot from you, just straight up the gut. Take your circle 2 look. Vince, he likes the inside kind of flip up route, but doesn't quite give it enough and ends up catches something and ends up short right. Harry, he looks like he's going to line up the forehand. Let's see what he can do. Comes out a little low, takes a huge flare skip, and honestly, not a terrible result. He might not have a putt over there, but it should be a pretty easy up and down for his par.
Vince just chips up and around, get up to the basket, make a nice easy par putt.
Ooh, man, Harry is really just all over the basket today from those circle 2, 30 to 40 footers. Just can't quite get him to drop. Circle's edge look for you. Also just short, top of the cage. And Lucas for our last chance at a birdie on the card from about 25 feet, I would say. And that's cash. That's a great
right
putt.
on the post.
Yeah, Lucas has been on today. He's 7 down through 11 with a pretty bad spit out on hole 1 is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, he's definitely settled in now after that little spit out.
Yep, that's a
Throwing
great cleanup.
well, putting well.
Yep, it's a great cleanup there from Harry. We'll have a couple tap-ins from you and Vince. And then now we get into the stretch of the course where you really want to start to pick up some birdies. 12 through 17, I would say, are all very much gettable. So let's see how the card can attack this stretch.
Yeah, so hole 12 is a par 4, 564-foot hole. You have an initial gap here that you're trying to get into, and if you want to throw a forehand, you can throw a forehand in here and try to land somewhere about this area, or you can try the big turnover shot and try to get as much distance as possible to give yourself an outside look at trying to get a chip up for a long putt.
Yeah, the backhand is tempting. If you can hit the angle right and get that little bit of turn before you come back to the left, you can for sure get a jump putt. But if you don't turn it over enough and you start leaking down this hill, it is very steep right to left slope. So you got to be careful. Lucas, this one looks a little pulled. And 3 favorable tree kicks, and he's right in the middle of the fairway. Wow. That's how you play it, I guess.
I'm going to try that turnover down the right side, and I just kicked that tree, and we're going to go down that left side like you talked about.
Yeah, that's the danger on this one is tree kicks are just not committing enough to your shot, and that slope comes in very quick. Vince looked like he flipped that up a little too much. He wanted to keep that on Hyzer the whole way to get it to move back to the right. Catches a tree. We'll see if he'll have to scramble from there. And Harry, he likes that turnover line as well. This one looks a little overturned actually and catches something on the right-hand side, but he got enough distance that he should have an opportunity to scramble for his birdie. Vince, on the other hand, you can see the silver T sign kind of up there. If he can hit that gap and fade out, he's going wide actually.
Yeah, I think he was just looking for as much distance as he could get here. He knew he wasn't going to get up to the basket, so he's just put himself in position to be able to save par.
Yep, and that was a good shot. He was able to bite off enough there that he should be okay. Kind of hit or miss down here this far down the hill. Sometimes you have gaps, sometimes you don't.
And sometimes you hit a tree.
Sometimes you hit a tree. You bit off a little bit of distance though, so not the worst case scenario. And Lucas, he just has a straight putter shot into the basket after hitting the fairway, but he catches one on the right-hand side there and kicks a little down to the left. Tricky little up and down here. Just caught that last tree. That'll be a tough putt to save your par there. And Lucas also catches a tree, but gets a little bit more favorable of a kick, so he'll have a circle 1 putt for his par. Oh, here's Vince. This is his third. gets sneaky around that tree, and he'll be able to save his par from there. Is this Harry's drive?
So Harry's actually back farther. We thought he was a lot farther up, and we had to actually go walk back and find where his disc was. So this is his
Okay.
second shot.
Still a great shot, though. Goes backdoor hyzer, sneaks through all the trees, and he's parked for his birdie. That's a nice shot there.
And just didn't commit enough to that one.
Yeah, that'll be your first bogey on the day. It's a tough break, but it comes. These bogeys come in quick on this course. That's a great par save from Lucas, as I say that. But yeah, if you catch an early tree and take a bad kick, the scrambling is not easy off these fairways. A lot of skinny trees that you got to avoid and sneak your way through if you want to save your par. As Harry's able to get the birdie for a stroke on the card. That is a good birdie. You know, this hole is very much tee shot dependent. If you hit that gap right, you usually have a pretty straightforward approach, and he was able to execute that really well.
So hole 13 is a par 3, 256-foot uphill shot. It's a slight little turnover. Main goal is just to kind of get out the gap and just get up here and give yourself a chance at a putt. It's really hard to park this hole.
It is. It's a tough shape. It's just a very subtle turnover, but you need something stable enough that's going to just flatten out at the end. So let's see. Harry looks like he's going mid-range here. A little bit overturned, but he'll still have a putt. Something circle's edge uphill. Lucas now. He doesn't like it. Yeah, catches a tree there. Not going to be in danger with that kick, but definitely is going to be a long uphill putt if he wants to try to get the birdie. This shape is really tough for a lefty backhander or righty forehand. If you're going up that main gap, you just have to very slowly flip something up and push it straight. And you, speaking of pushing straight, that one pushes a little too straight, and it's going to leave you with a long uphill bid.
Yep, I'm just going to have to chip it up now. Try to give it a chance, and just a little deep.
Yep, decent little half bid. Yeah, there's going to be a long putt for Lucas from probably edge of circle 2, uphill. Gives it a go.
Why are you so strong?
Oh, it misses it high. Wow.
He did. He gets a lot of power on that step putt.
Yeah, a lot of pop there. Now here's Vince. About circle's edge, another uphill putt. Yeah, tough to commit to those. Tough to get enough pop and height on that. Now Harry, again, last chance for a birdie on the card here. About circle's edge.
Oh, come on.
Oh, man.
Just splashes out.
Just leaves it a little right, and these Mach 7s don't really like the low right putt if you're a righty. They kind of tend to push them out. You're much better off either high right or low left. They tend to catch a little more often. But not a terrible putt from Harry, but just a little off and wasn't able to convert on the birdie.
And this basket's very nearby hole 6's basket, where we said there was a lot of wind too earlier. The wind does tend to swirl around in this area a lot too, which makes it difficult to make some of the putts.
Yep, it does. Yeah, it comes over from those open holes that we saw at the end of the front 9 and comes back into this area. So tricky little putt, par frame for the card, and we'll move on.
So hole 14 is our par 5, 722 feet. Initial goal is to get up this hill here, and you want to get just left of this V tree and try to fade out back towards the center of the fairway. If you come in any earlier, it gets a lot trickier to try and get down the fairway. Your second shot is pretty much just get as straight distance as you can and try to get over top of the hillside here and let the disc just continue fading and getting down the hill. Really good tee shot, really good second shot. Eagles are definitely in play. Anything that's early or off can definitely be a struggle getting up and down the fairway.
Yeah, this is one of those, I mean, it's a beautiful hole. It's a super fun hole to play, but it definitely plays a little shorter than 722 on that second shot when you're going downhill. But this looks a little too straight from Harry. Like you said, Ramie, you want to push it just inside of that kind of V tree you see on the backside of the fairway, and that'll leave you with a pretty straight approach. Lucas also kind of does the same, clips something though, and he drops in the fairway. And I should say, like, these guys' shots are still playable. They can still manage a birdie because it is a shorter hole from where they are at. It's just the eagle is out of play at this point, and that's caught up short for Vince. That's going to be a very tricky next shot from there. When you left that one wide too, drops straight down. That is going to be a very tricky scramble, honestly.
Let's try to get back into the fairway, and we clip a tree, and I'm going to show you the route of going through the woods on the left side.
There are routes over there, I will say, but it's not where you want to be. That's for sure. This looks nice from Vince. A little turnover into the gap.
He got a ton of distance, which I think is the most important part when you're trying to scramble through some of these shots, is just getting distance helps.
Yep. The two things you want to do here is avoid the early trees on this hole and then just hit your angle. Because if you can commit to the angle correctly on these second shots, you can glide all the way down the hill and sometimes get a putt even if you're like 450 feet, 500 feet to the basket. It's so downhill that if you miss the trees and you get the angle right, you can get a putt. So here he's on the backside. There are a couple gaps over here, but it is definitely tight. Looks like he found one of them, though, and he's going to be all the way down the hill. That's a great shot. All right, what do we got over here on the left?
Small gap. We're going to try and get a little flip up through there. And we're going to catch.
Yeah, that is tough. Yeah, like you said, this is kind of muddy run, right? Once you're off the fairway, there's a bunch of little small gaps, and you basically just have to commit to one and try to hit it. And if you do, you can make progress. And if not, the big numbers come in really quick.
So we're going to try a smaller gap.
And of course oh my God, you're running the basket.
Almost threw it in.
That would have been a crazy birdie, but you've given yourself a look for par. That's all you need here. Lucas looks like he's
throwing 3.
Yep, he's got a nice clean gap. He hits a great, nice little backstop. That'll be an easy birdie. Long jump up for Vince for the birdie. Isn't able to connect. And now this is for eagle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Just
That one looked good the whole way. Yeah, just a little off. Vince to save the par. That's a great putt. Yeah, this is one of those holes, as long as you're making progress on every shot, the birdie is very much gettable. But once you start clipping early trees, those big numbers come into play. Good par save from you there. That one could have got out of hand.
Hard-working man's par there.
Yeah. That's one of those off the fairway, off the fairway, off the fairway par.
Yep. Looks great on you, disc.
Yeah, exactly. But you'll take it for sure after that drive. It's definitely a good par. Harry now to try to get his birdie after sailing that eagle putt a little bit. Right on the pole.
So far, Harry's been playing the back 9 a lot better than I have, and I played the front 9 a lot better than he has, and we're kind of at the same spot now, trying to keep up with Lucas.
Yeah, and Lucas is
down with that.
He's starting to pull away from this card a little bit, with his distance, these next couple holes definitely play to his advantage.
Definitely. I mean, hole 15 is a par 4. It's only 314 feet, but it is severely uphill. Name of the game here is get as much distance as you can without hitting a tree with height, because if you hit it with height, you're coming back down the hill and the hole's going to get a lot longer and a lot harder.
Yep, and that tree you saw that's close to the green that fell down has been cleared out, so thank you to the countless volunteers at Lancaster County Disc Golf Club for coming out earlier this week and helping get this course into tip-top shape for this B tier. Harry leaves his drive a little bit wide, but honestly, this hole is short enough that he can still probably get up and down from there with a nice second shot. So Lucas just mashes a forehand.
Mashes a forehand up there. I believe that was the first run drive that he was throwing there.
And that's a great shot. That's all you need. Just Vince is going to try to follow that up the left side. Play it off as much as you can. That's not quite as much as he'd like, but again, still playable. going to see, I believe, a fourth attempt down that left-hand side, and that peered the gap right there. Nice
Tried to throw that forehand with Lucas through the same disc. He still threw it 20 feet farther than I did up a hill.
Yeah, he's tough to compete with when you're doing a distance competition, but he did a decent job. That's a great shot, and it'll definitely play for the birdie. Harry with a nice shot. That's going to leave him another circle 2 putt. We'll see if he can convert there. Oh, and Vince catches the early tree. The rough isn't too bad on this hole, I will say. There's a lot of gaps, both left and right side of the fairway. So as long as you're pushing forward, you should be able to save a par, and Vince has given himself a chance to do that. Yeah, and after you're on Lucas's great drives, just a little chip up here. One leaks a little bit on you, but you still got a circle 1 look. Lucas with, of course, just a little jump putt.
That weapon to be able to jump putt like that on that hillside.
Yeah, from about 100 feet and just a no-doubter from there is, like you said, definitely a great weapon to have. Harry's still got a birdie look after an errant drive. See if he can convert, and again, just a little short off the top of the cage. Vince now to save his par. Same miss.
I'll tell you, going up this hill, it really wears down on the legs. It's very steep, and it definitely makes you tired. The lactic acid starts pumping through your legs, and you're like, I don't have the legs to push this putt in.
Yeah, it looks like it caught up to you there. And this is definitely, I mean, as everybody's seen for the first 15 holes of this course, a lot of elevation here at Muddy Run. So it's not just, throwing your discs uphill, and then you also got to walk up those hills too. So it is both a workout and a tough track.
Hole 16 is probably the most picturesque shot at Muddy Run. I don't know anybody that comes here for a practice round that doesn't throw multiple shots off of this. This is a par 4, 748 foot, top of the world shot, and you're just aiming down here for this cluster of trees. There's a basket just underneath, a little bit protected. There's a fence behind that has a little bit of a gap, and OB can come into play. So your goal is to get down there as far as you can and then just chip up onto the green and take a nice easy par, or a nice easy birdie.
Yep, it is a par 4, so your first shot, you're just looking to get as much distance as possible. And speaking of distance, oh my gosh, wow. He's pin high, right?
He is pin high.
750 foot drive, just casual, just a casual 750 foot drive. That's insane.
Yeah, and Harry's going to come out and rip a DD3 and try to match that. And he gets some nice height, nice turn on this. And he's got the forward momentum going on this shot too. And he's almost all the way up there too.
Yeah, that's a great drive. He'll probably have a jump putt from there. I don't know if he'll be able to run it because the ceiling is pretty low around the green, but it should be no problem to get his birdie.
I've played here a lot, and I don't like dealing with the wind, so I just throw a nice hyzer all the way down there and just take my easy up and down birdie play from there.
Yep, as long as you get the angle right, it's no more than 250 feet from where you are over there, so just another chip up to the green, and it should be no problem. This did play as the easiest hole on the course in round 1, averaging 0.81 strokes under par, so this is definitely a must-get birdie, especially if you bite off the distance you need to off the tee. It's a nice shot there from Vince. A little shorter than he'd like, I'm sure, but still, I'm sure less than 300 feet into the green. So all he needs to do is just pop a little putter, a mid-range, straight at the basket, and slide it up there. That's a great shot.
He does just that.
Yep, you're over there on the left side. Again, should just be a nice wide hyzer, smooth something in. Leave a little wide, a little tester putt there, maybe 20 footer. Yeah, see, here's that low ceiling we're talking about. So Harry can't really give that a run, even though he's only 100 feet from the basket, but he doesn't have any problem sliding that forehand up there. And Lucas is 40 feet for eagle.
40-foot putt.
And he's got the ceiling to run this one, too. just didn't commit to it.
He had just got done talking about how he misses his C2 putts always too high, and then he just a little low. So it's just an overcorrection, I think.
Yeah, overcompensated, but no overcompensation from you there. Able to bounce back after the miss putt on the last hole. That's a good birdie.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to miss a birdie here in the MPO field. Almost everybody's getting this. I don't think we had any bogeys on this hole in the first round, and it's really just make sure that you get that birdie. Try to stick with the rest of the field.
Yep, and our feature card does what we'd expect them to do. First star frame of the day, and it's on the hole we'd expect it to come on. So nice job from all four of you.
So hole 17 is actually, we're going to be playing the silver here. It's on the left side, there's a forehand up the hill. Your goal is kind of match the hillside and just kind of settle in nicely up here with the basket.
Yep, it shapes for a nice hyzer. There's also a kind of a sneaky righty backhand hyzer route if you want that too. But the biggest gap is for sure this left side, either forehand or backhand turnover, which it looks like Harry's going for. Looks like he just pushes that a little too straight, doesn't quite get the turn. It's tough to turn it going uphill like this and get that late drift to the right that he's looking for.
Yes, Ramie.
That looks like a great line from you. Ooh, deep.
So as we walked up here, the person on the card in front of us had actually just aced. Ethan Hine had gotten the ace on this hole with a Sexton Firebird.
Yep, that is a great ace to get. This is 238, but it plays all of over 300 feet with this super steep incline. Four pretty good shots. We're all putting inside a circle too, so let's see if who all can convert here.
Harry gets a nice little C2 putt there to get it started.
Yep, he's finally kind of found his rhythm here on this back nine and is putting together a nice solid round after a slow start.
Just a little low on the downhill putt.
Yeah, those downhill ones are tough, especially that's a death putt from where you're standing as this hill. Oh, and Lucas leaves that one short. It's always tough to putt after you see two misses from inside the circle, but Vince is able to convert there for a nice birdie. Keep himself moving in the right direction. He's had the chances, just hasn't quite been able to convert on a lot of those circle's edge putts. But there's still 3 more rounds. This is a 4-round event, so no one is out of it by any means at this point.
So hole 18, we're actually going to be on the lower side tee pad shooting here. It's going to be more of a straight shot. Most people are going to be throwing a forehand here if they're right-handed. Vince is probably going to be throwing a hyzer. It's just a wide open 400-foot shot. You really want to keep yourself away from the tree line on the right side as they hang really low and it makes it impossible to putt almost.
Yep, that's really the only mistake. Just make sure you leave it nice and wide. It's a little bit downhill too, so it doesn't quite play 400 as Harry juices that one and takes really the first skip we've seen all day and ends up circle's edge long.
We thought that skip was in front of the basket. It looked very much like he was going at the basket there.
Wow, still a great shot. Giving himself a chance to finish on a high note. Here's Vince. And this is the mistake you were talking about. Doesn't quite swing it wide enough. Although he actually just juices it.
Outthrows it completely.
Yeah, that is like 60 long on a 400-foot hole. Yeah, that's no joke. Lucas, he doesn't like this one.
He doesn't, but he's throwing an orbit felon that really works its way back there for him.
Yeah, nice and stable. Still gives himself a circle's edge putt. Last tee shot of the round for you. Ripping on that rive again, it looks like.
Just a little high.
Yeah, a little
high. Out into
high.
that spot.
And that is tough. There really are no putts from there. With the elevated basket and the low ceiling, you'd have to be a madman to run that one. See what Vince has got from circles. Circle 2. It was a good bid. Yeah, just a layup.
Yep. Just nothing there. First round of the tournament, there's just no reason to run that.
Yep. Plenty more golf to go. Take your par and call it a day. Now here's Harry, hoping to finish strong with circle 2 putt. Just left it a little right. Now Lucas to get to 11 under par from just about circle's edge. And that's a really great putt on the elevated basket. Looks like a little crosswind. And 11 down.
Finish.
Yeah, that is no joke.
It's wild how quickly he goes into that birdie mode. Like I was right there with him at the end of the first 9, and he just absolutely took off.
Yeah, that combination of his elite distance and really solid on his 25 to 30 foot putts. And he was able to convert on the birdies that he needed to, and 11 down is very good. And as we'll see shortly, it was good for the hot round on this first round of our tournament. And you'll see, Lucas with the 11 down, 1017 rated, super great first round. Cody Bradshaw, Jesse Longenecker, and Travis Dumbach via PDGA number will be rounding out our lead card for round 2. A bunch of other players will be looking to chase them down. Thank you to Elevation Disc Golf, Tono Group, and of course our presenting sponsor, Home Again Disc Golf, for supporting this coverage and the tournament. Ramie, thanks for joining me. Had a great time talking disc golf with you on this first round.
Absolutely, I agree. Check us out tomorrow for round 2 coverage at Muddy Run.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.